Today we have an adorable kit review. It's from the Crafty Kit Company and, well, just look at it. It's some sleepy mice. Now this kit, I couldn't see this kit on their website, so I think it's an older kit, but I can't actually remember where I got this one from, but you can get it on eBay. I think I saw some links on Amazon and Etsy, so you can still get it quite widely. But it's supposed to be, it says beginners easy peasy. This one was $18.95. It's on various prices, but around that price point, a little bit less, some a little bit more, but around that price point on eBay and Etsy. But I've had it for a couple of months and I just thought it was absolutely adorable. I think there's enough to do the 2 mice on here, but I fell in love with it because it was just so cute. And it says, shh, don't disturb, we're probably sleeping. This needle felting kit contains everything you need to make these adorable sleeping brown mice. So it says these, so I think it's both. I've undone the tape so that we can open it easily, but it is just, I mean, it's so cute. It does look sort of older. It's been a little bit, as I've stored it for a little bit, but it looks a little bit bashed, so I think it's an older kit. But it is just, I mean, it's woodland sort of, and that's my aesthetic, but it's just cute as a button egg. So let's get in and have a look. The Crafty Kit Company do lots of kits, and they are meant, this is the first one I've done from them, but they're meant to be very good. I know they do advent calendars, which people have raved about. So cute. Yes, so I know people have said, let's have a look what we get in the box. So we have some core wool, which is we have a little, we've got a little needle poking out of there. So we'll have a little look in what's in there. Well, it looks like we've got 3 needles. We have some brown and some grey. Some pink. I think that's going to be for their tails. And cute little nose. And we have some mousy colour. Okay. Oh, and we have a teeny tiny sponge. But I'm not a fan of this squeaky foam pad, to be honest. I'm not a fan of the squeaky, so I will use mine. It's good that it comes with one, but I really hate this kind of squeaky kind of, I much prefer this soft foam, so I probably won't use that just because it hurts my teeth. So it says learn everything you need, learn to needle felt. Everything you need inside this box. So it does say it's easy peasy. It does look a simple design, but it's so cute. I love the Sleepy Little Mouse design. I'm just trying to see, 100% guaranteed crafting fun. Craft your way to happiness. I mean, it's a nice box, and it's very positive on the outside. It looks very sweet. I love the picture. I love the look of everything. Let's have a look in here. So I'm not going to show you, like with the last kit we did, I'm not going to show you the instructions. It is their copyright, so I'm not going to show you. I will give you a brief overview of the kit and I'll show you how I'm progressing as we go along, but I'm not going to show you their instructions, because that would be wrong of me. But I'm gonna as we go along, it says you how to make the head, make the body, join the head and body, define the face, make the ears. So it's given me 10 steps. Let's see how easy it is to follow. And we'll have a look at it from a beginner's point of view and see, because it says it's easy peasy beginners. Time to complete 2 hours each. Now, I'm not a fast felter, so I don't really sort of pay attention to the times it states and things, but it gives me written instructions, 10 steps, but then it gives me, and it does give me 10 pictures. So it tells me written instructions, and then it gives me 10 pictures so that I know roughly what I'm supposed to be doing. We'll see how well I get on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide each wool into 2, so that I've got enough, so that I don't end up with one big fat mouse and one teeny weeny mouse, which would be fine anyway. Who doesn't want a teeny tiny mouse? But I think I'll do that, and then I'll, stop myself making a big fat mouse and having no wool left for the teeny tiny mouse. Yeah, so I'll get on with that and we'll come back and see how I've started. Right, the sun's shining in on, so we've got some nice sunlight shining. So I've divided everything. Hope that's enough for one. We'll soon find out, because that's what I've got for one mouse. And then let's have a little look in here at my little, it says take care, sharp felting needles enclosed. So let's have a little look in here. Yep, they're all poking out at me. And you know how I like to stab myself. So let's have a little look in here. So we've got 2 pairs of eyes. Now, are you going to tell me? No, it doesn't. Are they not colour coordinated or anything? So we've got 2 pairs of eyes. And they're all roughly even. I'm going to put those back in there until I need them, before I end up dropping them on the floor and ending up with a mouse with one eye. Nobody wants a one-eyed mouse. Well, I'd still love a one-eyed mouse, but needles are very sharp, so please take care. Are you going to tell me what needles? See, this is where I want kits to tell me what needles are included, what size needles are included, and which is which size. Or are they all the same size? Items you will need handy to have: scissors, glue, accurate weighing scales. You can use hairspray to tame the wispy strands, masking tape for taping needles together. So does that mean they're all the same needle and you want me to tape them together so that I can... that's nice to know. Now, in 1 second, I'm going to check through the instructions and see if it actually tells me what needles they are. Okay, I can't find, and they look all the same to me. I can't find anything that tells me what size they are, but they look all the same. So I'm presuming where it says there in just little, it says masking tape for taping needles together. So I'm presuming it's given me 3 of the same so I can tape it together to make the process go faster. It does give me some nice tips. It tells me what a weft, it suggests a weft is and what a wisp is. A weft is a piece of wool pulled from the main piece. Pull gently to tear off a weft when needed. A wisp is a tiny piece of wool. Felting wool goes a long way, especially when you're adding fine details. It's easy to add more, not so easy to take it away if you've used too much. So it does give you nice hints and tips. It does give you little tips along the way. So I think it's giving you nice information. It says it's age 10 plus, but I do think it's very cute. So I'm going to get on with step 1 and So here's my head. The sun's getting in the way. So it doesn't give me measurements. It doesn't give me weights. And it doesn't tell me how exactly it wants me to do it. So from a complete beginner perspective, it sort of tells me the shape it wants me to make, but it doesn't tell me how. I've had, it sort of says sort of make an egg, but it doesn't tell me how to make an egg. So if I was a complete beginner and I've sort of never done it before, I might struggle to get the sort of the egg cone shape straight away. It might take me a lot longer. It gives me a rough estimate on sort of like, it says this should take you X amount of minutes. But because I've made eggs and cones and stuff before, I knew roughly how to do it. But there are faster ways to do it. If I hadn't made one before, it might take me a lot longer to make. It doesn't tell me how firm it wants me to do it, but because it's sort of cute and cuddly, I'm not expecting it to be like firmly felted. I'm sort of doing it sort of squishy, but not really loose. I'm doing it so that it holds its shape, but it's sort of a little bit squidged so I can add stuff to it. But that's where I am so far. We have, and it shows me in sort of relative to a hand, so I'm doing it roughly. But yeah, so this is what we have so far. There's my mouse's head. So not cute yet, but we're going to get there. So we'll see what step 2 says. Okay, so now I have a body and a head. And I've now used all of the core wool. And I think we're going to get to the, and I haven't made him big. According to the photo, I've made him about the right size. And I think I'm going to end up with not, now I've used all the core wool and it still need, and I need some core wool. So I've got my own core wool. But I'm just looking at what we've got. We've got to cover the mouse. So I think I'm going to run out of wool with this kit. Yes, if it wants us to make 2 Mises, I think I'm going to run out. I do have these colours, I think, in my stash, but I'm hoping it's going to be cute. We'll go on to step 3. Step 3 is to join the head and the body together. Let me carry on and I'll do step 3 and I'll come back to you. Okay, so after joining them together, that was step 3. It said join the head and the body. He does look a little bit bigger than theirs now, only a little bit. It's very hard to tell because they give you no measurements, they just sort of put them in the hands. So my hand's bigger than theirs, smaller than theirs, but I've used my own core wool, so I'm not sure if mine's bigger or smaller. And then now for step 4, it just says spend a little time defining the face, and it says it will shrink. Doesn't give me much guidance at all on defining the face, so I think the instructions have missed a trick there. They could have given me a lot more instruction on how to define the face. Yeah, so I'm going to I don't know whether my head's a bit big and where the head and the neck sort of stop, so I'll have a go. Might just be one big head. We'll have a go. I'll have a go and see if I can. It doesn't give me much instruction how to do that, but we'll have a go and we'll see how cute we can make this little mouse look. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I've spent a few minutes. I've made the nose a little bit more defined. I've actually, in bringing the nose in defined, I've made the top where I think the eyes are going to come a little bit fatter. I have defined the neck, although I've lost it a little bit now because I've made the body a little bit fatter, because when I did this, they just look like a bean, like a little bean mouse. So he's actually ended up a little bit, it's getting bigger. It's the teddy bear all over again. Why do my things always end up huge? But I don't mind, because it's it's going to be cute no matter what. So the next one I make, I'll try and make smaller. So I'll have a big little mouse and a little mouse. So that's step 4. I'm going to go on to step 5, which is making the ears. So that's going to be our next step, and I can define them more as we go along. And yeah, it's fine. It's going to be a process. Right. So the ears said to felt into a rounded ear shape, leaving the end fluffy, and that's to and that's to attach. Now I was finding it, the needles they've given us, I'm pretty sure are 38s. So I've brought out my 40 because I couldn't get the with the 38. It was giving me I couldn't get the finish that I wanted. It did say that we could trim down the outside, and then what I do is I put my finger guards on, or you could use a piece of cardboard, but I find my finger guards, and I hold on to the ear. It is in there somewhere, it's grey on grey, look, and then I go around the edge and make a nice neat ear. So that gives me a nice neat edge. You can trim off the wispy bits, but I just find more wispy bits appear. So that's how I'm sort of trying to get a nice neat edge and shape the ear. Can you see? Shape the ear how I want it without stabbing myself to pieces. But it wanted us to put some pink on the inside and then a little bit of the brown on the outside. And I don't mind how mottly the colour is, but I do find my 40 needle gives me a much smoother, non-fluffy look than the 38. So now I've got to, I'll just go over the edges a little bit more, and then now I've got my once I'm happy with that, because my little, he's a bit fluffy, I could do with going over the whole thing with my 40. The 30, I like a 38 needle, but when I'm coming down to finishing touches, I like a 40. But then I will find my position and we'll add the ears, but we'll do that in a second, and I will add the ears with you so that you can see. Okay, so just deciding where his ears are going to go. I don't know if I want them all the way back there. Doesn't really say where to put them, just shows me a picture. Do I want, now he's sleepy so they come forward, but I think I want to pinch them a little bit. I can't zoom you in anymore. I think about there looks right. I don't want to come down there, that looks silly. And we don't want to go back there. I reckon about there. What do we think about that? It's got, we want to go sort of, I think about there. And then a bit of a pinch. I can model his face a bit more, but once I get his ears on, let's just sort of, I know what we'll do. Put a pin and you there. What do you think? Let's get your other ear on and let's have a look. What do we think? Does it look cute like that? They'll come down a little bit. I think they need to angle out a little bit. What do we think about there? Or do we think they should come a bit further? Oh, it's very difficult for you to say. Oh, I think a little bit closer. How about that? Yes, I think that looks a little bit close. It looks a little bit better. About like that. I know you can't really see and I'm fumbling around, but it's very difficult to get to get it so you can see. Just tack it down at the back and then I can do the tuck. Tack it in the general direction and then I can pinch. Let's tack the very ends. If I tack the very ends then I can move it, but it just stops it. And I take the pin out. And if I pinch while I do it and then go in at this direction, if you felt in the direction you want the pinch to go in, so if I felt in that direction, then come down and felt in this direction, because they're supposed to be sleeping mice. But in as a rule of thumb, if you felt in the direction you want it to go in, so always keep your needle in the direction you want your. So that's okay for now. I'm going to match it up. So I want the ear to go that way, but I want to pinch so that so I'll pinch it and felt up. And then felt down. It will naturally go in a coney kind of shape. How are those ears? I think those are looking good. Then that will felt down. I'm going to put some fur over the top of that anyway, some wool over the top of that anyway. And if I come slightly up and down, that pinch will get more exaggerated. So I can do that as I go along and see how. So I won't attach them anymore at the moment until I get a little bit more of the face done, and then I will know how exaggerated I want that pinch to go and whether I want it to go more down or more out. So I think for the minute that's probably more, and if the ears look a bit big I can sort of bring them back or forward. So I think that's okay for the moment until we get on a bit more of the face. So now we're going to go on to step 7, which is make the tail. Cutie cutie. Okay, so here's my little tail. Can you see? Okay, so I love the way it's asked us to make this tail. The tail description was brilliant. I'm not going to disclose how, but this is the best version of a tail that I have found in a kit so far. The way it told us to roll, the way it told us to, the way it told us to produce the tail was brilliant. That is the best tail I have made for a mouse, following the way they said in the kit. I love it. Other parts of that, they didn't really tell us how to make the comb for the head, but the tail, fantastic. Best tail I've ever seen. So, love my tail. You'll think I'm weird, but it can be really tricky to get a tail right. It can be really tricky to work out how to make the tail of something so simple. Can be really awkward to make, and to get it to be to a point, to get it to stay together, and the instructions are really good. So I love my tail. If you haven't worked out by now, I'm a little bit strange and a little bit of a nutter, but it's fine. So we're now going to attach the tail to the bottom, do his little bottom. Because our next step, it says for 8, it says add a layer of grey wool over your little mouse. If you like, you can leave the tummy and the nose white. This should take you about 20 minutes. Well, I don't have much grey to go over, so what I'm going to do, it does, and then it says we can add, for step 9 is to add a thin layer of brown over. So this is very much personal preference now, about how much we want to go, how much grey we want and how much brown. Do I like little grey mouse? I quite like a mixture of the two, if I'm honest. And I do think I like a little bit of a white nose and a white. So I'm going to see how much, and then I'll see how much of his little tail I want out as well. Because how much I'm going to felt this a little bit for you to, I think I'll start up here and I'll thin it out, and then I'll see how much I'll get sort of more comfortable doing over the ears first. So I've gone over the face. It is a bit thinner than up, but then I'm going to put some brown over the top so they're both, and I'm just coming down the back. I'm not going to have enough, but I think we could have, we could have done with a little bit more wool in the kit. It is coming out cute though, it is coming out cute, but the price point's not far off the Bergen and Bath. It's £18.95. We are making 2 mice, but the mice are in a little. There is a kit that I'm going to, I've got a few kits that are in the pipeline to do, but there is a kit on Etsy. It's Felt by Philippa. She's got her own website, but she also sells on Etsy, and she has a anybody who felts should know her channel. She's got a fantastic channel, and she's got a mushroom kit. She's got actually a few kits that I really like the look of, but she has a mushroom kit that I really want to do, and she does video tutorials, which I think is a fantastic idea, and I really want to do one of her kits, so I'm going to do one of hers soon, and I love the look of it, and she thinks of everything. I've watched some of her, I've watched a lot of her YouTube videos, but she thinks of so many things, so I think one of her kits should be amazing to do. Ooh, don't want to groove your tail, baby. This is turning out adorable. I do love him, and I have, you know, but whether a complete beginner would be able to follow the instructions and get the same kind of little mouse out, I just think it wouldn't take a lot for the instructions to be a tiny bit more clear, and just a couple of sort of measurements on how big they want just the first two egg shapes to be, and then that would stop. Like I always end up like with the bear, making him too big. Then that would stop you running out of wool. If you were only supposed to make a 3 centimetre egg or a 4 centimetre egg, and you ended up making a 5 or 6 centimetre egg, then you wouldn't run out of wool, and then you wouldn't have a negative opinion of the fact that you haven't got enough wool. That to me would just save. But mine actually doesn't look, perhaps a little bit, but I'm literally looking. I'll show you the you know, that's what you've got to go on for size. So yeah, that's the only thing you've got as a size guide to see whether you're doing it right. So mine's just going to be a bit browner than grey, that's all. Right, I'll get on with this, finish the grey, and then I'll bring you back before I do the brown. Okay, so we're getting the brown on there. You can see it's still a bit naked, but we're getting the brown on there. I'm doing it in small wispy sections so that the colour mixes. So I don't want to totally lose the grey. But I'm pretty sure I've got enough brown. I'll carry on and come back when I've finished. Okay, I have done all of the grey and brown. We have a cute little mouse. I have popped his tail in the position that I like. So I've got this much brown left. Oh, hello, we're not in shot. This much brown left. So I've got just enough. I think I like the little nose white and the little, though it's got the tiniest, excuse me, it's got the tiniest little tummy patch. And now kind of want to do little feet, but I'll follow what it says. Now number 10, so that's number 9 for number 10. It says add nose, mouth and eyes. Needle felt little pink wool on the end for the nose. A couple of strands of dark brown wool to create a mouth and eyes. Less is more when adding the details. This should take you approximately 10 minutes. So, I think, not sure if I like the profile that way. It looks a little bit, I should have gone either closer and done him a little chubbier, because I've done him a little bit like that and then keep springing back. I want to put sort of a little bit more of a indent here. Sort of get him down a little bit. He wants to keep springing up. Move the, but right, so I'm fussing. I always get really pedantic and really fussy. So we'll do a little bit of pink nose. Now I don't want to do, it's giving me a bit of creative lib on the nose, it doesn't mean, so I think I'm just going to, rather than do, I mean the picture, let's have a little look at the picture. Yes, the picture isn't sort of too, so I think with the nose we can sort of doesn't tell me what, but I think this reminds me of the, doesn't tell me what wool this is. I like kits that tell me exactly what wool it is. I like the information, because if I fall in love with the wool from a kit, I might want to go and replicate it. I might want to go and buy that wool. But this does remind, the colours do remind me of mouse and rabbit from the Corridale, from World of Wool. No, obviously you can get Corridale from lots of places, but I always get mine from World of Wool and Simply Felting. Right, can you see my little... I like that nose. It's not too pointy. I'm trying to keep this sort of not too detailed. I'm trying to keep it sort of... Theirs isn't too detailed, but I do think my nose is a little bit... I'm trying to keep it sort of not too defined, because I want him to be sort of like a whimsical mouse. Okay, I kind of like that. I don't like that harsh line though. I'm very sorry, little mousey, but I'm going to give you an half done your tail, but I don't like that harsh line there. If something's bugging me about that little bit of your chin, I do apologise. Probably made not much difference, but if something's bugging me, I have to fix it. Right. Harsh lines annoy me when I'm doing, unless it's supposed to be it, but you could sit here for hours and be pedantic about things, but as long as you're happy yourself and it looks cute and you've got this adorable little mouth. I'm probably going to end up with loads of little mice at the end of this, because I should just start making mice and they'll just appear all over my desk, which is fabulous. Who doesn't want a little mouse? Right, now we want some eyes. So I'm going to tease off some of this and make some long little strips, I think, to make my eyes. Okay, so looks like the eye goes... I've felted my ear down a little bit now. I've decided on the angle of my ear, and so I've felted my ear down a little bit, and then the eye goes between the centre of the ear down to the point of the nose, so the eye will be in that line somewhere there, and probably in the middle. And then what I've done is I've pulled off just a strip from the brown, and then I've sort of twisted it in, twisted it in my fingers to help the felting process. Twisted it like this, and then at some point, and then I'm going to do like a little smile. And then what I'll do, so I'll sort of, as if I'm drawing an imaginary line, and I'm probably going to end up changing this, but I'll just start it off, and then like do like a little, but you can change it and felt it as thick and thin as you want. You can't even see. Ah, so I'll anchor it at some point here, and then bring it so I anchored it there, and then push and manipulate manipulate it as thin as we want it. The more times you push the wool in, the thinner it should go. Remember, direction. Push your needle into the direction you want it to go. So down in the middle, make it a little smile. Lightly. We don't want the poor little thing to be, we don't want a dent in his eye. Now if you end up, we can always how's that? It was a bit fluffy now, I can hold on to him. Sorry little mouse, I made you fluffy. How's that? I think that's cute. Now I'm going to do the other side to match and then we'll be back. Okay, and my little mouse is done. I liked this kit. My little mouse is cute and sweet, simple but sweet, adorable. Okay, so pros and cons. It's cute, it's adorable. I love the concept. It is good for beginners. The instructions weren't complicated to follow. There was 10 steps and they are simple, but it didn't give me, if it's for beginners, I wanted a little bit more guidance. It just sort of told me what shapes to make but didn't tell me how to make them. It didn't tell me how much to use. It said items you'll need: scissors, glue, accurate weighing scales. Why would I need accurate weighing scales when they didn't give me any measurements to weigh? It does say you can use hairspray to tame the wispy strands. That's a nice tip. It says masking tape to tape the needles together, but it didn't ever show me how or ask me to do it. And yeah, I would have loved a few measurements so that I didn't do. I ran out of wool, out of the grey and the brown. Well, I ran out of the grey before I'd even finished. The brown I totally used up. Did I make my mouse too big? According to the picture, I'll show you this picture. My mouse doesn't look like I made him too big. So in that case, I didn't have enough wool. Plenty of the pink. I've got some pink left. I said to you before, I loved the method of making the tail. Best method so far that I've had. I've watched and read different things about making tails, and it's the best method I've had so far about making tails. So I really did find it adorable. I would have liked it to tell me what wool it was. Now I apologise if it's in here somewhere and I haven't found it, but it doesn't tell me what wool. I cannot find what wool and what needles. As a beginner, when I first started out, I wanted to learn about what wool I was using, what needles I was using, so that I could learn, I could replicate again what colour I was using, what needles I preferred, what wool I liked to that's a missed opportunity. You can learn so much from the kits, and that's a real missed opportunity. But I love it. I liked the kit. I have some more from the Crafty Kit Company that I will do, and we'll see, whether they give us any more information, or whether we like the designs, things like that. But I did love it. Out of 10, I'd probably give it a 6, because the design's cute and I did follow it and I did make a cute little mouse. There are some things that could improve, but I did love it, and it is cute. Leave comments and tell me what you think. Maybe you've done the kit and you find it, you know, maybe you disagree with me or you agree. I will be doing the other mouse. I'll do him slightly smaller. Well, I'll try. You know, everything I do ends up bigger, but I will try and do it smaller, and then he might end up a bit fluffier because I'll have more wool. But I love it, and I think he's sweet. I hope you found this review helpful. Take care, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye.